You to go ahead and come in on Sunday, too, okay?
PS reports in, right? Get those reports in now. All new at 7. Do you feel like you can relate to that scene from Office Space? Turns out your boss may be making you sick. Research says that having a lousy boss leads to an increased risk of a heart attack, not to mention chronic stress, high blood pressure, sleep problems, and anxiety. In one study, men who rated their managers as good had a 20% lower risk of developing heart disease. And you know what? Unfortunately, quitting is not an option for a lot of people.
That's right. So what should you do? That's the question. Ryan is joining us right now with some answers. He has a very special guest with a lot of knowledge about this. Hey, Ryan.
We do. Unfortunately, Amy and John, so many of us can relate to that video we just saw. We were with our friend, workplace psychologist, Dr. Mimi Hall, joining us now. Hope you had a good weekend. Good to see you.
I did. It was a wonderful weekend.
So we know there are a lot of different types of bosses, good ones and bad ones. But the bad ones, let's start with them. What are some examples?
Well, sometimes you have what I call the explosive boss, when you never know they're going to explode. They get angry for no reason, and you sort of go very, very cautiously because you don't know if today's going to be your day to get yelled at, screamed at, fussed at, for things that you may have absolutely no control over.
There are some studies it's hard to understand where they're coming from. This is an easy one. I mean, you have to relate to the health issues that would come with having a boss that even when you go home, you're still stressing about this.
Exactly. You feel like you're on 24-hour duty because when you get home, you're still thinking about it, your mind's still working about it, and your body is still carrying it as well. That stress doesn't go away. And
yes, Sunday night you start thinking about Monday mornings coming up. What can you do if you know you really can't change your boss, unfortunately, but what can you do to maybe handle that a little better?
I think one of the things is to recognize what part of it do you have control over and what part don't you. And realize the fact, like for example, with our angry boss, you may not have any control over when he's going to erupt or she's going to erupt. But what you can do is just do as much work as you can, explain what you're doing. If they get angry, listen to it, be patient, be positive, but say, okay, I know I don't have any issues on this one, and it's not my fault, so therefore I'm not going to take it in. And you have to constantly keep reminding yourself about it, because if you don't, I assure you it's going to go inside.
And probably a bad idea to bottle up your frustration to where eventually they say, I'm going to need you to come in Saturday, and you just erupt a little bit.
Yes, and you got to be careful too. You know, one of the things we always say too is don't complain to a coworker. If you're going to have to let it out, do it to someone that you can trust that's going to keep it quiet, because the minute you do it to a coworker, you never know where it's going to go from there and how you're going to get perceived by others.
Great advice. Dr. Mimi, great to see you. I know this is something out there everybody can relate to because we've all had a bad boss at one time or another.
Right.
If you haven't, you're lucky out there for sure.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah. Great to see you, Dr. Mimi.
Good to see you.
All right, let's send things over to Jamie King. He's got a look at our Monday forecast.
I do. Good morning to you both. And again, basically clear skies here. Metro, little different beast now over the west side of the state as we now gather and accumulate some clouds with rain approaching out of the eastern Gulf of Mexico. Good morning, Central Florida. Let's come on back, take a look at what's doing.